Hey, this is Andre Gower from the Monster Squad, and you're listening to the Real Nerds Podcast.
Hey, Real Nerds listeners, your favorite host Ryan here to remind you that social media is great. How great is it? There's many ways you can find the Real Nerds on social media. You can download us on iTunes. You can listen to us streaming on Stitcher Radio. You can call us 720-6nerds5. Aw man, our website is so cool. You can visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You want to leave some fan mail? Oh, that's so easy, realnerds@gmail.com. Twitter, we got it, @real_nerds. You can even like us on Facebook. Thank you so much, and hey, enjoy the show. Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast at Denver Comic Con 2015 and beyond. I am Ryan. With me is James and Brad. What's up, Brad?
Yo, what's up?
Before we start the podcast, I'm just going to dedicate this to my grandpa Leon, who passed away this last week. My grandpa Leon wasn't a really big movie guy. At least I don't remember him watching movies.
I was going to say, dedicating this to him, it must be really impress him.
Yeah. No, but what I will say is we shared a love of Porky Pig.
Aww.
And so we would always watch Porky Pig cartoons, and a couple of years ago he was in the hospital for hip replacement surgery. I know he's old, and when he was in there, he was complaining. He says, "There's nothing to watch in this goddamn place." And so I went to Target and I bought him the Looney Tunes like Spotlight collection of Porky Pig.
Oh yeah.
And I brought it to him, and he's like, "Oh, Rye Boy!" He called me Rye Boy, and thank you so much. And when I went over to my grandmother's house, bless you, today, that set I got him was out and they were watching it, so that's pretty nice. And he always loved Gunsmoke, and so he'd always be watching Gunsmoke. And my grandma Lois, every time I go over there recently, I'd go over there and she's like, "Haven't you seen this one yet, bud?" And he says, "No, this is a new one." So yeah, he would. She know, and it was really cute. My grandma Lois is actually my mom's mom, and my grandpa Leon is my dad's dad. That's how my mom and dad met, is when they got their respective divorces. My mom, when she was 15, moved in with my dad's dad, and my dad was being shipped off to the Navy. So, you know, my dad was the hunky sailor who went away, and that's how they met. So it's very sad, and he was a great man. So this one's from my grandpa Leon, and is really cute and kind of heartbreaking. We were in his room when he was dying, which is horrible, by the way, if you've ever seen someone die in front of you. But after he passed away, my grandma Lois mentioned that my son, Kellen, his middle name is Leon, after my grandfather. Yeah. And they said that every time my grandpa would mention it, he would cry because he was so proud that someone was carrying on his name. So we had that, and they shared that moment with the whole family in there, so that was nice. So this one's for my grandpa Leon. I'm sorry that I cuss so much. But I should also point out that I will tell you a story, too, about my grandpa. Is I'm pretty sure I learned to cuss from him because he used to work with my father, and my dad owned a hydraulics business, and my grandfather is known for being frugal. Like, it's his thing.
Yeah.
But it paid off in the long run because he's worth lots of money. But anyways, so he would be in charge of the books. And he had, I don't know if you guys remember, it was like these old, like, brown like ledgers, and in it there was a bunch of lines, and in it you would write, you know, this person paid this, and he never used computers.
Yeah.
And he would write in it, and inevitably once a week he would go up and down the invoices and say, "Hey, did Jack so-and-so pay us?" And he'd be yelling at my dad across the way. My dad's like, "I don't know, you're in charge. You call." He's like, "I ain't gonna call that motherfucker." And he'd get really mad. And I think he taught me to be blasphemous too, because he'd always say Jesus goddamn, so he'd take the Lord's name in vain twice. But through it all, he was a really sweet man, and he loved his family. And so it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Tough year for my father.
Yeah.
His grandma died, his dog died, and now his dad died. So, but my dad's been pretty tough. So,
and around Christmas, it's never fun around Christmas.
No, it's
my mom's whole side of the family died around Christmas. So like,
it's weird, huh?
Oh yeah, no, it's bizarre.
You know, it was weird too when you went into. He was in the ICU, and so you went in, and it was literally just a bunch of rooms of people dying.
Yeah.
is horrible. You're like, oh, cool, that person's going to die. That person's going to die.
Here's the saddest place in the city.
Yeah.
So you're saying you have an extra place setting at Christmas dinner for me?
I do. Come on over, Brad.
Oh, my God.
And we'll be serving you dick.
Oh, my favorite.
Oh, man.
But no. So yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, we got to keep some, levity in it a little bit. But my
Laughter
grandpa
helps
loves
the healing.
my grandma told me a funny story because I guess he woke up the morning before he passed away, and he walked out and he laid down and fell asleep in the living room. And my grandma's, my grandma's legally blind, so she only sees blurry stuff. And she walked over and says, "Are you all right, bud? Are you all right, bud?" And he said, "Get me off this goddamn earth." And so I think he was done. So I mean, he is always funny till the end. So
That's funny.
that's good. So yeah. Anyways, if you're wondering what we do besides make people feel sad and Brad make people not like him, we go see a new movie every week. This week we saw The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. After seeing the movie, I think it's a better title for the movie anyways. Then There and Back Again. You're still up in arms about that? It was interesting. I didn't want to see it in high frame rate, but I had to close at a different restaurant yesterday, and I got out and I just rushed over to see it because there was one at 11:05 and then there was one at 10:30. So I got to the theater at 10:47. I said, "Hey, has it started in IMAX yet?" They said, "Oh no, there's 20 minutes worth of previews there." It's sweet. So I saw an IMAX 3D high frame rate. So I'll talk about it later.
Okay, cool.
But yeah. So and what was awesome is I forget the name of who's the manager at the Mills. The guy,
Chris.
Yeah, Chris. He said, "No, I think you'll make it." I was like, "Oh man, I hope so." So I had a free popcorn on my Regal card, so I got my popcorn and a soda. I ran in, and Joanna's like, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in a while." I said, "Yeah, thanks." She's like, "The IMAX are right behind me." I walk in, and as soon as I walk in, and The Hobbit's title screen comes on, I'm like, "Yes!" It's perfect.
Just barely.
I barely made it just before it started. So we'll talk about The Hobbit. We also talk about movie news, Boo, and we talk about.
Wait, you don't think movie news is going to be fun this week?
Oh, it's going to be fun. We'll talk about movies we've been watching. Do you have a comic book this week?
Nope.
Cool. So I won't have a comic book, but you'll see what I'll be talking about. It'll be a little high class stuff.
Pretty good.
We also talk about what we've been watching, Blu-rays that are coming out next week, and all that jazz. I always check on my son to make sure he's sleeping.
Is he not in the bed? Okay.
Oh no, he is.
From where I was, it was like a horror movie where the baby's not in the bed anymore.
He's been trying to get comforted when he sleeps. I don't know if because he's more aware now.
Yeah.
And so we have this little elephant blinky head thing, and I always put it next to him now, and it helps him fall asleep. And then I'll go move it from him. As long as it's not by his face, I'll leave it there.
He's almost like a real human being.
Yeah, right?
Getting there.
So yeah, that's what we do. But I like to start every show with a segment I call Fan Mail.
Fan Mail!
But one's for Filmsplosion, so I'll keep that. Ed Voorhees sent us Filmsplosion stuff.
We got a comment on our Google Plus account, too.
I know. I didn't even know we had a Google Plus account. Did you start that for us?
Yeah, a while ago.
Nice. Well, on the Google Plus account, it said when you put realnerds.com in, it takes you to a site about AIDS and HIV
Yeah, treatments.
So I guess we should specify it's realnerdspodcast.com.
Yeah.
Real Nerds
Why?
Podcast.
Why would realnerds.com have anything? Never mind.
Because they let the other real nerds let their
Thing
hosting
expire.
lapse.
Yeah.
So it's just
So
went to
some-
some pharmaceutical.
So some gay guy got it.
God damn it.
That's a gay joke.
they contracted that website.
God damn it.
And there goes our gay audience.
And
Just off the
that's
elderly. The
that's why
gays.
nobody listens.
Who else can we piss off?
Let's do the blacks next.
I don't
No,
know,
we'll
just-
do
how
the
about just
Koreans.
fucking white
Oh,
people?
yeah, okay.
Why don't we just piss off white people at this
Well, because
point?
white people
why
don't
not-
care.
We're already pissed off.
Yeah, for
You took the movie away from us.
affirmative action. I'm just kidding.
God damn it.
So we got an email from Dan from Ohio.
Hey, Dan.
Welcome back.
The feedback is for Exodus.
Cool.
I haven't listened to the episode this week, sorry. But I'll talk about it and stuff we've been watching.
Cool.
But we'll read his because his is probably more poignant and more well-spoken than mine. Greetings. I must compliment you.
Thank you.
You guys, really? On your recent review of Exodus. It was really spot on. I, too, appreciated the unique vision it presented, but found it to have a rather cynical tone, and your insight into Ridley Scott helped explain this. Who had the insight into Ridley Scott?
That would be me, since I'm the only person who saw the fucking movie.
Oh, Brad, you didn't see it?
No.
Piece of shit. Say what you will about Cecil B. DeMille's Ten Commandments. At least it had a clear vision.
It's good.
Whereas Scott seems to be a little murky in what he's trying to say.
Agreed.
Agreed.
I think there's probably 40 minutes missing from that movie.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And it's this non-committal tone that prevented me from enjoying it more. I agree.
Hmm?
Still, I will agree with you once again that it's a beautiful-looking film, particularly in 3D, which is how I saw it. Regards, Dan.
Oh, neat. Man, 3D.
He's like, he worded what I wanted to say. I love it. What are you looking for now?
You have any towels either?
Yeah, if you go into our where the washer and dryer are, there's like 50,000 of them.
Literally 50,000.
Also, Brad, you're fucking in your 30s. You can take care of yourself.
You can stop that shit up with your T-shirt, man.
So, yeah, thanks, Dan, for submitting that. I always love your insight.
I mean, obviously, I agree, since that's a lot of what I said last week. Yeah, I mean, it's a... Oh, my God.
Oh, I should tell my wife that.
Sexist bullshit.
But, you know, what I love about Dan is he's always really to the point, and he's really good at expressing what he wants to say. Like Dan, if you want to get contact with us, please do. Our Film Explosion is happening in 2 weeks, so please send us your favorite films of the year. We do a top 10. You can do whatever you want. We don't care.
Yeah, just send us whatever your votes are, whatever things it was that...
Yeah, or movies you didn't like. We love reading
Oh,
about
yeah.
that stuff. So, yeah, we're still doing it January 2nd.
We got in one this week, and I'm not gonna. We won't talk about it, but we did get in one this week where he actually ordered all of the movies that he saw this year from worst to best, which that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was
'Cause that way you get
Ed,
to
yeah.
see. Yeah.
So, yeah, if we did that, our show would be 17 hours long.
Oh my God, yeah. Though my list is not that long this year.
I'm at 52. What are you at?
I'm at 51.
Yeah.
I have to see one more movie this year. I have to see one more movie this year to see half as many movies this year as I did last year.
On January 1st, Chef is streaming on Netflix, so I will watch that January 1st.
Shoot, man. I don't know if I want to wait that long.
Yeah, I wanted to get it, but it's like $24. Not.
I know.
I mean, I guess I know it's a good movie. I guess I could. Who cares?
Yeah,
it's a
even
Robert Downey Jr. movie.
Yeah.
I'd probably end up getting it anyways.
Even at Tradesmart, it was $4. I was like, what the?
Yeah.
Come on.
What the hell? So yeah, send that stuff in. Brad, great job in designing it. We have a Guardians of the Galaxy theme this year.
Yeah, that was cool.
We already have ours planned for next year. It'll be Back to the Future.
Yep. Starting on it now.
Yep.
Awesome.
So it'll be awesome.
Unless, the podcast folds in the
and-
next year.
Or the world ends.
Yeah.
Cataclysm. The return of Jesus Christ. Any of those things.
Yeah,
could happen.
the podcast is really hard to go see a movie and talk about it. I'm pretty sure it's in danger. But your Jean-Claude Van Damme's Damn Van is playing again,
It's
right?
playing again. If you missed it the first time, you can go January 17th at 9 p.m. at the Bug Theater.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Nice.
It's part of a festival, so it's not like that evening isn't all about that movie. So
Right.
It'll be the second half of that 9 o'clock block.
But that's cool. It's the emerging filmmakers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
The EF Palooza, they're calling it, the best of EF Palooza or the EF Emerging Filmmakers Project for like the past.
Are you
going
going
to
to have it done this time, or am I going to see it? Okay.
On Friday, they're showing a trailer for that screening, so I have to get the whole movie done so there can be a trailer for that screening.
Nice.
So
It's a fun movie. If you guys like screwball comedies, action-packed, violence. I mean, there's tons of blood and guts.
totally
There is.
rampant nudity.
There is no nudity, though. You're a stranger, so you're
man.
PG-13
It
because
was
you didn't
rough,
have
yeah.
because you didn't have nudity.
Tons
But-
of swearing though.
Tons of swearing. Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Violence. Jean-Claude Van Damme's in it. It's a good time.
Desecration of American icons are in it.
Mhm. Child abuse is in
Child
it.
abuse. That's my favorite part.
I was vague enough.
You were big enough. There's ninjas.
There's ninjas. There's
There's
cyborgs.
There's a van.
There's a van. Yeah.
There's motorcycles. Pizza.
Acid.
Acid. that's a great gag too. Hockey rink.
Yeah, there's hockey in it.
If you're like, wow,
Hey.
this sounds like a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. It is like a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. Yeah.
There's more Jean-Claude in it than I thought because I hadn't watched most of his catalog when I wrote the movie.
Mhm.
So there's stuff like, the whole Bald Eagle
Oh, yeah.
is actually in the Kickboxer DVD.
Yep.
Yep. Didn't know that.
Yeah, see, subconsciously, maybe you did know.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's your chance if you live in Colorado to go see Brad's wonderful film. And are you going to have any CDs or anything there?
No, I think we're out of those. I have 3 more. There's 3 at Twist and Shout still, so
Nice.
if you
Cool.
really want, you can
Oh,
go
yeah,
there.
go to Twist Chow and get it. Or you can, there's one left at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Yeah, one there too.
So, if you want
Wait,
to
I
get
thought you gave them 2. Did someone buy one?
Yeah, there's only one when I was there 2 days ago.
Oh, cool.
3 days ago. So
Making money.
I think we'll have shirts again and posters. I have lots of posters left over from
Cool.
the last screening. And then
is Adam and stuff going to be there to sign posters and stuff like that, or is he busy that night? Do you know?
I don't know about him, but most of the rest of the cast
Yeah.
will be there. So
Yeah, he's great in it. He's the lead. So yeah, make sure you see Jean-Claude Van Damme's
Yep.
damn van.
then if you can't do it, then February we're looking at an Alamo Drafthouse release. So
Nice.
What?
5.1 version.
Nice. So hopefully that will happen.
Yeah, and that'll be us alone again. So we'll have skits and probably the DVD there. Hopefully.
Very
That's so
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
Man.
And I will be there, the MC, and I'll be all like, "Hey, motherfuckers, you ready for a fucking awesome movie?" And I'll be like, "Oh, fuck yeah!" And I'll be all like,
JCVD.
Yeah. "Yeah, we'll get it started." No, great. That's awesome, Brad.
Yep.
So I wanted to plug you. You know,
Thank you.
I'm always trying
I
to.
know you want to plug me.
I'm always trying to plug you on my show
That's right.
God damn.
in
Every time I
every
bend over,
orifice I
there you
can.
are.
This is the real news.
It's real news.
Nothing really happened this week, but I wanted to get this out of the way really fast.
Yeah.
I guess James Gunn said it was really hard to put Thanos into Guardians of the Galaxy because it was more for the Marvel Universe than it was for
The story.
The story,
Yeah.
and that makes sense. I mean, you have. I mean, it's an interesting scene and it's really well done, but I can see how it'd be hard. I mean,
Yeah.
it doesn't really fit in the movie, but it fits in the movie.
I don't know. I actually think it's a pretty cool aspect. Like that scene where Ronan's like, "Man, fuck you, Thanos. Like, I just want this thing, and it's gonna be cool." Like, I actually think that villain, because that villain and the villain from Thor 2 are very similar. I think that scene actually makes that villain more interesting
I
than
agree.
he would have been.
I agree.
Yeah, if he just
So-
taken the stone or whatever and then just used it on himself and you hadn't met Thanos yet, it'd be kind of like, why is he screwing this guy over? I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I think it's actually better because it's got Thanos in it.
Yeah, it does well. Also, that he said that it's. I'm just kidding. Of course, the big news is well, it started with just the leak from Sony.
Yeah, so I mean, last week this was like
News to James.
this dumb little thing that
It was
I
news to
sort
me
of
too because it's all Spider-Man stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a dumb little thing that nobody should really pay a lot of attention to, because honestly, who the fuck cares? Like, it's shitty. Like we talked a lot about last week, it's shitty that somebody hacked them. And then
Did you
this
hear how
week,
they really hacked him though?
No.
Is they got an email and they'd say, "Hi, I'm so and so from Accounts Payable. Can you send me Sylvester Stallone's Social Security number?" And they did.
What?
Yeah, true story.
Internal email.
Yeah, like an internal email.
Oh my god. Anyway,
So, anyways, the big story is it. The people that hacked is a group that call themselves Guardians of the Peace, which they found that it's actually North Korea, and what happened
well,
is
the FBI believes that there might be a connection to North Korea.
yeah, and here's the
We
thing.
don't know
So,
for sure that this is the North
the
Korean
biggest
guy.
thing that has affected is The Interview, which was a movie that's supposed to be released on Christmas, starring Seth Rogen and James Franco, is a tale where they were sent in by the CIA to assassinate Kim Jong-un, who is the dictator of North Korea.
Right.
And they took big offense to this. Of course, they didn't take big offense to Team America, which is probably worse. And so they took offense to this, and they said,
Well, in this one, there is a scene where they blow up Kim Jong Un.
who cares?
So-
And so, well, yeah.
Kim Jong-il dies.
Yeah, does
Oh,
he get
that's
eaten
right.
by, he
Oh,
gets
yeah,
eaten
you're right.
by shark, right?
Oh,
But
that's right. I forgot about
that
that.
guy in real life is dead, so he's not obviously
Yeah, I guess
realistic
that's
about
true.
it.
But here's the thing: is so
He's not the great
They
leader
said
anymore.
that if the United States shows this movie, then it's going to be a terrorist act like 9/11, which then theater chains said, "Well, we're not going to show this movie
Right. Out of fear of being
out
sued.
of fear of being sued or theater goers being hurt or whatever the case may be." So then Sony canceled the whole movie,
Right.
which is the no, it's a pussy move because.
Yes.
Like here's the thing is, have you ever heard of a North Korean terrorist cell that can infiltrate all of America? And
Those people, they don't even know what the fucking internet is. Like,
That's what I mean.
I am threatened by North Korea like I am threatened by warm mayonnaise. Like,
Exactly.
Well,
This is, I don't care. Here's the thing.
I can't say
Yes.
what I want to say.
No, let me just, because this has been pissing me off for a couple of days.
He has a point to make.
Okay.
Sir.
Okay. Yes, there is a threat here of if something happened and they knew that there was a possibility, like someone might sue the theater. And that's too bad. It's unfortunate that they have to live in that fear and that a lot of these theater chains didn't really have a choice here. That sucks. But what we did was, when a bully came and said, like, I'm going to beat you up, we actually caved in, which is not the right response. The right response is go fuck yourself. Like, we are allowing someone who is a coward and probably doesn't actually have any power to do anything to make us so afraid that it affects our lives to the tune, economically, of $60 million. Like, movies won't get made and people will lose their jobs because we decided to be afraid. Newsflash, we live in a world of people who do not like us and want to kill us, like, all the time. So, go fuck yourself. I don't care that you want to hack people and say that you're going to hurt somebody. By all means. Like, seriously, come and get us. Because if we actually do figure out that this was in any way tied to North Korea, it will probably be the best thing for that brainwashed country if we just go take out their whole government. Sorry. And I know that's not very PC to say, but this is fucking stupid.
3 things.
Okay.
The U.S. said today, like, yeah, it was North Korea.
Yeah.
Yes.
2, it sucks, but, like, the world we live in is that the people who are saying that they're pussies would also totally sue the theater if something did happen. And as we know, things do happen at theaters.
Yeah.
And that's far-fetched.
And that's too bad.
So I don't really blame Sony for taking that move. Like, and also their information is still, like, the employees, like, they're still vulnerable to like having their credit ruined. Or,
I mean,
like,
that makes sense. But I mean, you're also talking about an attack that you're going to target 4,000 theaters at a specific time. Where someone's and you know you're talking about the Dark Knight Rises.
Target all 4,000.
I know, but I mean,
does enough damage.
But you're talking about the Aurora thing, and it's
or even if not them, I mean, someone who's sympathetic to them in America could just copycat like their idea.
Yes.
Yeah, you can, but you can't. You can't live in this perpetual state of fear all the time because all it's doing is feeding the ego. And 2, you're trampling on the biggest right we have as Americans is freedom of speech, because you are just saying now, oh, you can't say what you want. You can't do this. You can't do that. And I think it's a pussy thing to do because it just really irks me because because they're sitting there saying that a fictional movie that is obviously stupid,
right?
You know what I mean? Is an act of war. Threatening the lives of thousands and millions of Americans is a direct act of war.
Yeah,
you are threatening American people. We are putting up a cartoon of someone who's not even your real leader and saying we're killing him in fake.
Yeah.
So
and I understand what you're saying about, like,
no, I understand
the people out there who are talking about how dumb this is also being the people who might sue, but and some people, as I remember, did try to sue the Cinemark, like, or the Century 16, but that wasn't the Century 16's fault. And I really don't believe they should be held responsible for what some crazy asshole did there. And I think the same thing is true of, whoever owned the World Trade Centers was not responsible for what happened there. There are crazy assholes out there, and they don't like the rest of us who are saying.
And it goes back to the whole thing is you can't prevent people from doing it.
Right.
You can always want to try, but you're never going to do it.
But instead what we've done here is set the precedent that if you send a nasty email and you have any actual power on the internet to hack into somebody or something like that, if you can threaten somebody in a way that is in any way legitimate, you will get what you want. And again, to the tune of over $60 million.
The thing is it's not even legitimate because the United States government says no, there's absolutely nothing that's happening.
No,
but
well,
I
but
understand
I mean,
what Brad's saying too, because Sony is trying to protect themselves
right.
and saying, oh, well, if we release this, something bad happens, we lose lots of money. Because they have an obligation to shareholders.
Right.
And so if they lose a lot of money, and this is how stupid it is, when they canceled that movie, Sony's stocks rised. Because even though they lost $40-50 million, whatever the cost of the movie is, like, oh, cool, well, they stopped that, so we don't have to worry about them being sued and losing more money because people got hurt.
Right.
It's a...
And they also, like, since the Korean hackers know all the identities of the people who work at Sony, like, they're vulnerable to what I suppose they send, like, agents over to, like, assassinate employees.
Yeah.
So that, like, that's a danger, too.
I feel
but at the same
like
time, like,
that's kind
capitulating,
of crazy.
today they announced like we have more demands. Like now we want it expunged like it never existed,
Of
which is like
course
insane.
they do. Right.
Yeah.
Of course they do. And especially when the wake goes even further, that then Paramount says that the Alamo and the other theaters around the country can't show Team America. Because, well, it might happen to us too. Go fuck yourselves. Like, this is not the way we should be behaving.
Well, exactly. And, too, if you're saying that, North Korea is going to send over assassins, if someone comes in from North Korea, detain them don't let them in the country. You don't have to let them in.
I'm pretty sure they're not actually going to send over people to
Oh, I
assassinate
know.
a couple of dudes who made a movie about...
100% sure they won't. And
yeah,
it's,
like...
It's
if they wanted to do this shit, they don't like us already. Like, this isn't the straw that breaks the camel's back. Like, they don't fucking like us. If they wanted to go to war with America, they would just do it.
They can't, though. The thing is, they don't have the resources.
No.
Here's a great story I'll tell you guys about how powerful North Korea is. So I don't know if you remember 4 or 5 years ago, they launched a missile to the Sea of Japan. And, oh my gosh, this is so bad. The United States launched a missile from 300 feet underwater from a submarine 3,000 miles away and hit that same exact target. So
Yeah.
we really should have nothing to worry about. I mean,
Like theoretically, they could pull off some, 24-esque attack where they sneak a bomb in and make a nuke and park a van next to a building and blow up all of Baltimore. Yes, all of those things can happen. There are a lot of parties around the world who could make that happen. Theoretically.
You guys saw that documentary Red Dawn, right? The remake.
yes.
How North Koreans attacked us.
Yeah, that is totally true.
Right.
That's why I'm afraid, you guys. That's why I'm afraid.
But yeah,
What if Chris Hemsworth is
but
not
you
there
know
to
what,
save
guys?
me?
We live in a cynical world. A cynical world.
I actually have a question for you. Is what the North Koreans did that much different from, say, some league of like animal protection or the handicap, like to saying, "Hey, don't release this movie because it's offensive to
Yes.
our kind."
It's different because they aren't from the U.S. Honestly, you're allowing
It's the same principle though. It's like, do this or else we're gonna like boycott your movie or like
Okay.
we're gonna launch a campaign to get
So-
it stopped.
So there's two things. One, what you're talking about is nonviolent. So
True.
saying I'm not going to support you, yes, that is your right. And if you are a North Korean citizen living in the U.S. or let's say this movie were released in North Korea, it would totally be your prerogative to not go see the movie. I disagree. Like I don't think that the movie, but if that's what you value, fine. The other thing is that I forgot what I already made my first point the first time, but there is a difference between threatening the lives of people and saying like I feel like animals. Oh, that's right, and saying that I feel like animals should be protected. The other is that you're allowing a unspecified group of faceless people from a different country make that kind of an impact on another sovereign nation, right? You're allowing it's like letting people in China have a vote about whether or not marijuana should be legal in California or in Colorado. You don't get a say. Sorry.
It is. It's a really. I think it's a sad day in America, and I mean, and not in
It's not a huge tragedy,
But it's- I mean,
No,
it's in the grand scheme of things.
in the grand scheme of things, it's not. But at the same time, you're like, really cool. So, if I send an email and saying, if Michael Bay makes another fucking Transformer movie, I'm going to show up to the set and I'm going to burn his fucking house down.
Yeah.
Oh, don't make another Transformers movie.
Yeah, no, the real violence that is actually worth worrying about here, as far as Sony is concerned, is the fact that their emails are getting out, that there was a breach, and that as a result of that, their emails are getting out, and there are people who are trying to sue them because of information that was leaked and what they now know about certain things that Sony did. Like, that stuff is actually affecting people in their lives. Whereas, most likely, North Korea is not going to blow up a theater in anywhere. It'd be interesting if they did, because again, like, it's not that I want anyone to be hurt, but like, what kind of a move? Like, if you just think about it rationally, like, what kind of a move is that? It doesn't actually
And
make
that
any
too,
sense.
I mean, it goes back to the whole thing. Does North Korea really want to start a war with America?
right?
Do they really
No.
want to do it?
And is it even real? Like, is it some dudes in North Korea who are pissed and are hacking into shit? Like, is it, how tight is it with? We don't really know. So that's why I'm, the FBI might say like, yeah, we're pretty sure it's tied to North Korea, but and because of how I understand that country to work, like most likely there aren't a lot of like militant underground groups
No,
that are
what it is,
that are like
it's
hacking
state sponsored.
into the US.
It's just like
Right.
in China. If you want to post something on the Chinese Twitter, it goes through the government first, and then the government allows it to be posted.
Right.
I'm sure it's the same thing in North Korea. I mean that too, and you're dealing with a dictatorship who suppresses his own people, who treats his own country like crap.
They're cattle.
Yeah.
He brainwashes them like cattle.
Yeah, and it's the Hitler thing. I mean, you have a guy who are people like, oh, thank you so much, I like you, but majority of the people probably hate his fucking guts, and you just can't do anything about it because you'll be murdered.
If they were allowed to have original thought since the day they were born, yeah, they probably would.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they kind of don't.
Yeah, it's all propaganda, and
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking, and it's sad that America wilted at saying, "Ooh, I'm going to do something."
And I mean, I understand. It's really the theaters that I have a problem with, because Sony ended up in this tough place, but
Yeah.
where the theaters were all dropping it. They were all saying, well, we're not going to show it because we're scared. And they're sitting there going, well,
It wasn't just that they're
If we-
scared; they were worried that having the interview around would decrease business for the other movies that they're coming out on Christmas, because people would be afraid to go to the theater.
Yeah, and and again, to me, that's just an irrational
Yes.
fear. And but yeah, you're talking about. I understand every position, but the way they went about it is just wrong.
yeah, I disagree with the choice.
Yeah.
And I disagree with the mentality and the prerogative that it sets up. Because
Yeah.
this will happen again.
it will absolutely
or
happen again.
or even worse, there will be people who want to make other movies that they then won't make because they're like, well, if I make a movie where we make light of
Yeah,
X,
Steve Carell got his movie nixed.
yeah,
Yeah, and-
exactly.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. And now, so we can't say anything bad about other countries. You know, we have the right to say whatever we want. It's in our constitution.
Right.
And so we should be able to protect that freedom instead of protecting a hypothetical situation where people are hypothetically going to get hurt.
Yeah. There wasn't another terrorist attack after the release of Postal, so why is it that we are...
Because no one saw Postal.
Well, that's true. That's true. Postal was not like... Yeah. Clearly what they should have done is that James Franco and Seth Rogen should have looked at this movie and gone, let's not promote this movie until like the very last second. And then be like, oh man, dude, we totally pulled one over on people.
I was
But-
really hoping Sony would have been like, okay, we're pulling it, and then like 2 days later say,
Yeah.
hey, we're releasing it a week earlier. Surprise.
Exactly. That would actually be pretty funny.
That'd be funny.
I would enjoy that.
And then the fact that they're not going to release it anywhere right now is stupid. Why don't they just put it on Blu-ray and then everybody can buy it who wants to?
Because now they've had the same problem. Well, so Blu-ray, yes, and they're still trying that, but they've had the same problem with VOD, where the different VOD distributors are saying like, "Well, I don't want to touch it." Like, what do you bomb when it's in the cloud? What do you blow up?
Well, then Comcast is afraid they'll get hacked, and then
Yeah.
Or you just...
And you can't put it on a Pirate Bay because they arrested the guy who runs Pirate Bay, so that's shut down. Like, we're running out of places.
even Mitt Romney said, put it on the internet. Just give
Yeah.
it for free.
or, just make it so you can only order the Blu-ray from Amazon. It's a warehouse. Or
And Amazon gets hacked.
well,
And they have my information.
Then Seattle gets blown up, and Seattle is one of the countries closest to North Korea. They have to be afraid. Oh my God. It's frustrating.
it is.
And it's not even like
And it's the only movie I wanted to see on Christmas.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know.
And it really affected real nerds.
And so we were going to go see Team America after that, and now we can't even see fucking Team America. Like, what do we do next week? I don't know. I'm just going to sit on my hands
Yeah.
and stare at North Korea and spit.
Into the woods, guys. Into the woods.
Well, they got the Imitation Game and Big Eyes.
Imitation Game I do really want to see.
I'm probably good on Big Eyes, I'll be honest with you.
It doesn't look weird. It looks like a normal movie, like a normal drama.
Yeah.
Seeing if I need to go, just hold my son for a little bit, but
that's okay.
he keeps on falling back asleep.
We can take a break.
No, it's all right. What do you guys want to do next?
Let's just let's go through the stats and shit.
Cool.
This is the box office stats.
The number one movie last week was Exodus: Gods and Kings, with 25.
24.115934.
Yes, that was my Christian Bale.
Yeah. It looks like, I don't know. Have you ever heard of a movie called Top 5?
I saw the preview.
Oh, really?
Chris Rock, Rosario Dawson.
Huh. Weird. But it came out at number 4. And Inherent Vice did technically come out last week as well. At $328,000 at number 20. But
4 theaters, I think.
yeah, something like that. So
They had a sneak preview at the Draft House on Saturday.
oh yeah,
Yeah, we missed it.
I saw a tweet from Tim League saying that the Draft House is going to have chocolate covered frozen bananas at all screenings of Inherent Vice.
Is that
So
a thing?
I
in
guess
the
so.
movie?
I will look forward to seeing Inherent Vice and
Well, top
eating
5
it.
is that Chris Rock movie.
Yeah.
That looked really
established
crappy.
that.
Okay, that it looked really crappy, but it's getting really good reviews.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, that's the movies. You want to do DVD?
Cool.
Cool.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
Week before Christmas always sucks.
Yeah.
There's like nothing. The Good Lie, which is some Reese Witherspoon the movie that
What's
I've
up with your
never heard of.
chin, man? It's so pointy.
I don't know.
Reese.
I think it's like super photoshopped in the picture too.
I heard she gets like all fucked in Wild. So if you guys want to see Reese Witherspoon fucked, go see Wild.
Our Christmas spectacular.
Is that?
Reese Witherspoon getting all her holes filled.
oh, shit! You had to make it
Watch
worse.
Reese Witherspoon get her mouth fucked, her butt
Aw.
fucked.
But this is no.
That should be on the poster.
No.
This movie's wild.
As a tagline or pictures of her. Never mind.
Just with her mouth.
It's like the 500 Days of Summer poster where there's like a little image of each of the frames of the movie in the background.
It's like a really crummy version of the Nymphomaniac posters where it's just a close up on her
Wait, there's
face.
good Nymphomaniac posters.
No, I mean like a less artsy version. You know, Continuum season 3 comes out on Blu-ray this week, which I tried watching some of that show once. It was not great. There's a movie called Pride, which I've never heard of. It's got Bill Nighy in it.
That's the gay pride movie.
Oh, okay, cool. So that comes out on Blu-ray this week. Check that out. Apparently, there is a show called Dominion, and the first season's coming out. Oh, it's on Sci-Fi. That's why I've never heard of it, and neither has anyone else. The Trip to Italy, which is the sequel to The Trip, the Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon movie. Did you ever see that first The Trip? I saw it this year. Wasn't a big pain. And then very last thing is Appointment with Danger, which is an old movie coming to Blu-ray this week. I think it's originally black and white. Let me see. Anyway, there's a number
Randy
actually
doesn't
of
care.
small old films getting Blu-ray releases this week. So, but it's like the shortest list of Blu-ray releases I've seen in a while. Anyway, that's releases. What are we doing next? What are we been watching? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
So I saw a few things this week.
And last week.
And last week. My favorite book is The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Cool.
And
So
I
you,
noticed...
so you watched The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? Is that where this is
Yes.
from? Okay.
Because it's the perfect representation of Dorian Gray. So Warner Archives is a branch of Warner Brothers Home Video that releases older movies on Blu-ray, but you have to kind of keep an eye out for when they come out. And they released their 1943 version, or 45, of The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Cool.
And I heard it was the best adaptation of it, so I went ahead and bought it. And the movie's pretty good. I've been really digging movies from the 40s lately. And it's pretty faithful to the source material. They kind of go away from more of the controversial things about it. I mean, I don't know if have you ever read the book.
No, I haven't.
It's very gay. Like Basil. Well, the story is Dorian Gray is a super handsome dude,
Okay.
and he gets a picture of him painted, and he wants the picture to grow old and himself to never grow old. So basically, he sells his soul.
Yeah.
So throughout the course of the book, the painting ages and gets ugly, and Dorian Gray stays young and youthful. So anything bad he does, it's reflected in the painting, whether it's age or he falls in love with an actress and she commits suicide. And so, his painting keeps on getting uglier and uglier. And Well, he doesn't, and then it kind of veers into supernatural. It's never really explained why the painting ages and he doesn't, and then at the end he stabs the painting in the heart and he dies. So it's like, and it's really well done, and it's an interesting film because when they show the painting of Dorian, it's always in color, and then the rest of the movie is in black and white. It's really, really well shot. Angela Lansbury's in it, one of her first roles. Donna Reed, who was in It's a Wonderful Life, is in it as well. I forget the guy who played Dorian, but he's pretty good in it.
Cool.
So it was a good movie. If you ever see the Warner Archives picture of Dorian Gray lying around, I recommend picking it up. But chances are you either have to order it from Amazon or you have to order it from Warner Brothers Archives because it's not like a big release. It's one of those ones that I think they probably make like 1,000 of them. And
is it a really nice Blu-ray?
Yeah,
set?
yeah. It comes with commentary with Angela Lansbury and a film historian. It comes with a theatrical trailer and stills from the movie, I believe. So I haven't listened to the commentary yet, but I mean, for like a catalog release, it's pretty nice, and the movie looks great. So that was fun. I watched Exodus, Kings and Gods, Gods and Kings,
Gods and Kings,
yeah, whatever it's called. And I haven't listened to the episode where you talked about it, James, but I have a feeling I agree with you a lot of it. Visually, the movie looks amazing.
Yes.
It's well shot, well put together. The acting is really good in it. But there's something about it I just couldn't connect with. And maybe it was because the representation of God was like a little English boy.
I really like that
Did
part.
you?
Yeah.
That part bugged me. And two, I don't like movies when they talk down to audiences, especially when I think it's like, okay, I'll give you a scene that really made me actually made my eyes roll in the theater.
Okay.
Was Moses is leading the Hebrews across the mountains or whatever.
Yes.
And he comes up, his scouts, and says, "Hey, Ramses is behind you 3 or 4 days unless he lets his horses, shorter if he doesn't rest his horses." And then they cut to Ramses.
Oh, yeah,
and there's
that
one
was
he's like,
dumb.
he's like, "Ramses, rest your horses." And then Ramses just keeps on going. So basically,
Yeah.
they're telling you what you just told and showing you
Yeah,
the same thing.
That was dumb.
Yeah,
No, I
and they
agree.
had a lot of moments like that. And what's Sigourney Weaver doing in it? She's barely in
Dude,
it.
I don't know, dude. The whole, and we didn't talk about this last week, and I wish I had, but the fact that movie got whitewashed is unfortunate. Ridley Scott talked about it and basically said, like, look, I wanted the movie to get made, so I had to make everyone white. Which
that stuff
isn't-
doesn't bother me.
Right, that's a fair argument. Christian Bale, when asked about it, said, I think critics should get a life, which is the wrong response to that question. But I think it's too bad, you know? But yeah, I think that's why. Like, Sigourney Weaver is a friend of Ridley Scott, and he needed a woman, so... And a gaunt woman. Like, all of the Egyptians, he casts people with very long faces, because he's trying to make them look like all those weird statues. But... I don't know. It is weird.
But see, that didn't bother me at all because it's just like the old movies. I mean,
I think
there's.
that like Kingdom of Heaven, there's probably 40 minutes on the cutting room floor that we will get in a director's cut.
I think so, too.
And she probably has like a whole story where
Well,
she tries to kill Moses as a baby or something.
Honestly, too, I'm pretty impressed that it's rated PG-13, and when all those crocodiles were eating people,
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's pretty violent.
Yeah.
Not that I care, but it's interesting.
I did like that interpretation of the rivers turning into blood. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while to get going when the plague started, though. I was really into it.
Yeah.
But it seemed really long.
Hmm?
Like the movie seemed really long.
Yeah, and so the reason I like what I talked about last week was that I think that when you have a movie where you get to personify God, that part is really cool. So I like any sort of creative version of personifying God in that way, like having him be a little kid who's kind of an asshole. I thought that was neat. It's just that he doesn't fight with Moses enough. Like when you have a character like that in a movie, I want to see that character interact with Moses.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time he just sort of shows up and bitches a little bit and leaves. And I really just wanted to see them fight. I wanted to see those arguments. Because that's what I liked the most about it, was that they took this story where Moses usually just does whatever God says and was like, no, Moses was a stubborn asshole, and so he fights with everything God tells him to do. And so that version of it I liked.
my favorite part
There
of the
just wasn't
movie
enough.
is when I went to the Alamo and I got my victory account. I had 2 free milkshakes, 2 free popcorns, and like $4 off candy.
Holy shit!
So I got a free milkshake and popcorn.
That's pretty
So
cool.
that was a good day at the old Alamo.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie it was well made. It just left me wanting something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I agree. It's one that I've thought about a lot, and it's kind of like Moses for me, or Noah for me, where they took an interesting story, took a not as different a take on it as Noah did, because Noah's got like giant rock monsters and shit in it. This one is much more true to the story, but just put some twists on it, told it in a modern way, and asked some interesting questions that made me think, and that was cool. I don't walk away really feeling touched by it or connected to the characters. So
Yeah, it is all right. I also watched Family Guy Volume 12. Season 12. Volume 13.
What?
So last year they released Volume 12 of Family Guy.
okay.
This year they released Season 12 on the box, and then when I started up the DVD, it said Volume 13 on it. So
Wait.
they don't know if they're pitching or catching.
Weird.
So you've got 2 things that say 12 on the box.
Yep. One says season, one says volume.
Is it a different set of episodes?
Yep. The thing with Family
At
Guy
some
is
point
they're
did-
already stupidly released, so...
At some point, did they release like 1 season in 2 volumes, or
What they used to do is they released volumes that had like 13 episodes, so it'd be a little more than a season.
Because the first volume had seasons 1 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that would make it sound like there should be more volumes or more seasons than volumes. Which in this case, there's more volumes than seasons because there's 13 volumes, but there's only 12 seasons.
Well, because like I said, they broke it up. Like I think after the 5th one, they started doing
Yeah,
12,
I think 5 or 6.
Oh.
They only had like 12 episodes.
12
even though
episodes. So
they
it'd
made
be like a
24
little more
something.
than half a season.
Oh,
and then,
what the fuck?
then when they'd release the next one, it'd be the last, like third
Like the
of the last
mid-season
season.
break or something?
Yeah, and then they'd show the other half of it.
So is this maybe the first half of season 12?
No, because then...
This is the whole thing.
Yeah, last year
What
they
the
released
fuck?
2 full seasons on DVD to get caught up. And it's the 20th Century Fox thing. It's like My Modern Family is no longer on Blu-ray. How I Met Your Mother will never be on Blu-ray except for season 5. And it's just so stupid how they
Community
do
is
it.
never on Blu-ray.
Yeah,
but that's
Community.
not 20th century, but
it's-
still.
Yeah, but it's
What
the
the
same.
fuck?
Yeah,
So weird.
So it made me mad. I also watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which I haven't seen in years. I think it's Danny Elfman's best score. I think he plays it like a cartoon, and it really fits the tone. And I think that's where actually Tim Burton doesn't get in the way of the movie.
So you think that his score there is better than his Spider-Man score?
Yeah,
Wow. All right. Okay.
because it's more playful, and the movie is so silly, and it just reminds me of growing up, and it takes a full-on commitment from Paul Rubens to be that character,
Yeah.
and he fully believes that he's that character. And I mean, there's just parts that I remembered it started coming back to me as I was watching it, where he's leaving his house and Francis shows up, and he says, "Come on, Pee-wee, listen to reason." And he like puts his hand up to his ears, and he says, "Pee-wee, Pee-wee," and he says, "Shh, I'm listening to reason," and just stupid things like that. And it's just so silly, and it doesn't make sense. I still think one of the greatest line deliveries in any movie ever. And I didn't get this when I watched it, obviously, as a kid, but I haven't seen it. I don't know when the last time I saw a movie, maybe 10 years ago. And I watched it, and he's with Simone in, like, the T-Rex. And she says, "Oh, Pee-wee, put it right there," or something like that. He's like, "Inside of you?" Or I forget what the wording is. And her boyfriend, Andy, is outside listening. And so he comes out, and she goes, "Andy," and then it cuts to Pee-wee and says, "Andy," and it's just like a really, really funny moment. And the way he says the line just cracks me up, and I always remember the little punk kid in it as a child actor, being the snobby, like, spoiled brat. It's like, "Whenever you're ready, sir." "I have been ready since first call. I am ready. Roll." And he keeps on talking about how the girls can't hit their lines and marks, and it's just a really zany, goofy movie, and it's really funny. So I really enjoyed that. And the last thing I watched is to continue my cruise-a-thon is Eyes Wide Shut, which is Stanley Kubrick's last film. It's better than I remember it. but it's still a really weird movie. I know Kellen's mad about it too. I don't know if there's really a plot to the movie,
Right.
except Tom Cruise wants to go to a sex party.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't know it's a sex party. He just thinks it's like a masquerade. And, yeah, it's just about him and his wife and their opportunities to cheat on each other. And this really weird party that he goes to where people are constantly fucking in it. It's beautifully shot.
Did you watch the theatrical or
No,
the
the
director's
unrated.
cut? Ooh.
Yeah, there's like 20% more fucking.
There's more thrusting in this version.
Yeah, it's funny because I was looking on it. I think it's like 6 minutes longer. I don't remember the movie from the first time I saw it, so I couldn't tell you what was cut and what wasn't.
It was all the thrusting.
Probably. And but I think Tom, like he's my friend. I think Mr. Cruise is really good in it. I think Nicole Kidman is not.
Big T.
Because there's the part where she's like smoking marijuana and is being truthful to him about how she wanted to have an affair with a sailor. And when they cut to Tom Cruise, he's like heartbroken. He says, "Why did my wife say this? Why is she doing this to me? I thought we had a happy marriage." And the way she delivers her lines is really, I don't know how to describe it. It's not good.
Yeah.
So that bothered me. But I think the movie is so beautiful. It's so well shot. The camera movements, and all that stuff. But yeah, I liked it a lot more this time. It was weird. And I always got a kick out of it. The one part I forgot about, but as I was watching the movie, I remembered, was where everywhere Tom Cruise went, he would flash his like medical license and saying, "I'm Dr. Hartford." Like that would get him into special clubs or something. It was really bizarre. But yeah, and then you find out at the end it's like it was all in his. It's like a movie that's like in a dream. I can't describe it. It's really like softly lit, really slow paced, and it has really weird music. Have you seen it, Brad?
No.
Like there's anytime there's supposed to be a dramatic part, it'd be like a one note from a piano. It'd go bunk, bunk, bunk. Have you seen it?
Yeah, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I liked it more this time, and I'll probably watch it with the commentary. It's not Kubrick, but
Yeah, I feel like when I watched it like halfway through, I kind of stopped paying attention. So it's almost like I didn't really.
Because you don't really have to pay attention because there's really no plot. I mean, the plot is literally Tom Cruise trying to get to a party. So yeah, that's what I watched this week.
Cool.
Fucking.
I got
Goodman's
nothing.
naked a lot in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Does it make her acting any better?
No. Oh, I did. I forgot to mention. Sorry, that I finally watched the last season of How I Met Your Mother, which I've already seen.
Yeah.
And I watched. Have you seen the alternate ending?
No.
There's an alternate ending to the show. I was a big fan of the original ending.
Me too.
Because I thought it was more truthful.
It's what the show's actually about.
Exactly, and it was heartbreaking, but also uplifting, which I think is what the show is.
It's the only. I am expecting it's the only version in which Ted actually learns the lesson that he needs to learn.
Exactly. So in the separate or the different version of it is Bob Saget does a voiceover, and he talks about how I'm reminded of it every day I wake up and see your mother sleeping next to me, and it ends with him doing a voiceover on the Farthampton platform. So you don't get the resolution from Robin or any of that stuff. So it seems
It's the cop-out ending.
that version seems like the studio saw the original ending and they said, you need to make a happier ending.
Yeah.
Which I actually think...
Because the easy way to end that show is all of a sudden he meets the mother and we hear a voiceover that goes, "And that, kids, is how I met your mother."
That's exactly how it goes.
That's horrible.
So basically what happens is instead of them cutting back to the kids and Ted says, "And that's, kids, is how I met your mother." And they say, "Oh, this is a story about how you're hot for Aunt Robin."
Right.
Because Mom's hardly in it.
Yeah.
That part's completely gone. And it's replaced with Bob Saget doing the voiceover saying, I'm so glad I have your mom and blah, 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 blah. So the aired version is way better. I just had to get that off my chest. It's
Yeah. I will simply repeat what I said when it came out, which is that is a show about a guy who.
Hey, did you bring a Doritos Locos taco for my son? He fucking wants one, dude.
Dude. Oh, he's reaching for it. That show is a story about a guy who believes that if he finds the right woman, that it will make his life complete.
Mm-hmm.
And what he learns in that last episode from his own children is that his life was complete the whole time in the friends that he had, eventually the wife that he had, the kids that he had, and hopefully once again in having Robin as his girlfriend or maybe wife. That he basically has to live his life with whoever it is that's around him and search for the kind of love that he needs, and that no one person is going to make his life complete. And that's the lesson of the show.
Exactly.
And if you take that away, then it's just a show where the title was How I Met Your Mother and had a voiceover, and it was funny sometimes.
Yeah, and that last season's really strong, though. It really is.
Yeah. Because the season or two before that, they had started to like spin their wheels.
Mm-hmm.
But man, yeah, they did a good job. And the people who don't like the ending are wrong.
I agree, because the ending is... Dude, the ending makes me cry.
It's great.
Yeah, that's what I watched this week.
Cool.
Brad, what porno did you watch this week?
Oh, this is gonna be
I watched
long.
all of the pornos, all of them. Yep. No, actually, I watched Family Guy season or volume 12 when Brian shaves off all his fur.
Oh, dude. And I was laughing with Chip.
Oh my god, yeah, Chip.
Hiya, Pete. Hiya.
And then, although the whole Brian dying thing, like, it only lasted for one episode. That's kind of weak. But I mean, eventually I wanted him back, but I figured they'd be like the season finale or something, like he comes back. But no, they just scrapped that plot right away. And then I almost drove down to Colorado Springs to pick up the Cowboy Bebop series Blu-ray
Oh, yeah?
because no Best Buys in Denver were carrying it.
Really?
I was like, oh, well, maybe it'll be a good adventure. I didn't want to wait for Amazon to deliver it to me and then it not have a
discs.
slipcover, or discs. So, but I decided to take a stop over at Twist and Shout first, and they didn't have it. And then it occurred to me, oh yeah, Second Spin still exists. So I went over to Second Spin for the first time in a while, and they had it for the same price Amazon had it for.
Oh, neat.
So I scored that, and that show is still great.
Yep.
And it looks great. Although one annoying thing is that, like, I like to have the subtitles on even in English, so I can keep the volume down in my apartment, but also, hear what they're saying by reading.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't give you the subtitles unless you're listening to it in Japanese.
Really?
So I have
Weird.
to. Yeah.
If you're deaf, you can't enjoy Cowboy Bebop.
Well, the Blu-ray, I guess. So
Well, you can. You just would be listening in Japanese.
yeah, you'll
In
enjoy
which
the.
case you wouldn't hear the Japanese anyway. So
Yeah,
You'll enjoy the
guess so.
visuals, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it goes by really fast. I forgot. Because when I grew up, I got them on DVD, and you got like 3 episodes on a disc.
Oh,
but like
yeah.
the first disc takes care of like half the show on Blu-ray, so it's
Funny.
burning right through them.
How many episodes of that show are there?
I think it's like 26.
Okay.
And I think the movie is pseudo episodes 22 and 23
Right. Yeah.
in between those.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not very long
I
at
remember
all.
it being longer than that, but I guess back in the day when you had to just like,
Wait 4 months for the next 3 episodes to come out.
well, or I was just watching it like on Adult Swim where they would just show whichever episode they felt like, so you didn't really necessarily,
Yeah.
if you watch it every night.
It wasn't
for-
chronological, was it?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
And it's not like I was up every night watching it, right? So if only every Friday night you watched them, you were getting like random episodes. So
Yeah, I forgot how long it takes for like God, I can't believe I'm blanking on her name right now.
Valentine, Eddie,
Ed. Yeah.
yeah.
She like it takes like 6 episodes, I think, or 7 for her to show up. I always
Really?
thought it was like the second or third episode.
Huh? That's
Because
weird.
the first one is just Jet and Spike, and then Faye, I think, is the second one. And,
Yeah.
Or no, Ian is the second one, and then Faye is the third one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Weird.
But then it's just Faye and Ian for like 3 or 4 more episodes, and then I haven't watched a Ed one yet. So
Weird.
yeah. What else? I think that's it. Yeah, I watched Batman Returns, which has Paul Rubens and Diane Salinger from Pee-wee's Big Adventure as Oswald Cobblepot's parents. Did I talk about the turtle? Yeah, I did.
Did you? What was the turtle? I wasn't here, so
The Ninja Turtle in Batman Returns.
yeah.
Yes.
When
'Cause then we talked about
Ryan was
how
there, so-
bad a superhero Batman is for 20 minutes.
That's right.
Did you know that he never defeats anyone in those first 4 Batman movies? In the first one, he he pushes the Joker, and then tries to catch him, which is poor planning because then the thing breaks, and then the Joker dies. And then the next one, he distracts the Penguin, and the Penguin falls out a window and dies. And then in the third one, he kills Two-Face by flipping a coin, which distracts the Two-Face, and Two-Face trips and falls and dies. He never fights any of his villains. This is what we discussed last week. Batman's the worst. I mean, in those movies.
Shut your mouth.
Dark Knight trilogy is really good.
But anyway, so in the early part of the movie, when the Red Triangle gang shows up, there's that jester who blows fire. Before Batman gets to him, he blows fire into a merchandise store. And there's a close-up of the merchandise getting incinerated. On the far right of the table, there's a plush Ninja Turtle.
Oh, nice.
So we're
So the
talking
Ninja
about
Turtles exist in the Batman
Yeah.
world.
Sweet. That'd be sweet if they fought each other.
Right.
We
so
talked about that.
yeah, we
Who would
decided
win?
that the Ninja Turtles would kick that Batman's ass all day
because he can't turn his head.
because he actually can't fight anyone and he can't turn his head. Yeah.
So 4 turtles would defeat him.
Right.
Hey, Brad, did you get the Steelbook edition of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
No, I almost did, but then I remembered I hate that movie.
You're gonna get it eventually.
And I might get it if it's like part of the new trilogy box set or whatever they decide to do.
You think they're gonna make 2 more of those and put out like
Yeah.
a trilogy?
Well, we know
box
one
set?
more is coming out, so
Well, yeah.
we'll see how that turns out. But then if that one comes out, I have a steelbook and then like a regular edition. I'll be like, I don't like these movies, and they look weird on my shelf. It's the worst decision ever. Yeah, I hate passing up a steelbook, but
And you don't get the reversible headbands.
yeah, it's okay.
I
I
got
made
a-
my own.
I got a used copy of The Hangover in Steelbook edition today. At
Oh yeah, I got to
Nice.
see your haul. You had like a stack of 50
I
Blu-rays.
didn't get all of those. I ended up not getting because there were a couple in there like Gladiator where I was like, I can probably get Gladiator new for this cheap.
Was it a steelbook?
No. That's the other thing is that some of the ones that I didn't get were really nice movies where I know I'm gonna want a better version down the line. So
Yeah.
like Gladiator, it's like yes for
I know Dan has a steelbook Gladiator.
yeah, and it was like $7, and so then it's $3 when you get it with or $4 when you get it with one other movie, but it's like well $4 or someday I pay $10 and get a really nice version. I'll just wait and get the 10, you know. So I didn't get all of those, but I did get them because I got Dragon Tattoo because I've never owned that and a handful of other ones. It was a pretty good haul.
I wrestled with getting Over the Top on Blu-ray or DVD. I decided on neither.
Yeah,
I also wanted to get Weekend at Bernie's 2, but they didn't have Weekend at Bernie's 1. So
on Blu-ray or on DVD.
this was
I feel
DVD.
I feel like Weekend at Bernie's 2 probably does not have a DVD yet.
No,
or
it has
a Blu-ray yet.
Yeah. I know Best Buy has a Blu-ray of the first one.
If Bad Boys 2 still doesn't have a Blu-ray, then there should not be a Weekend at Bernie's 2 Blu-ray.
I'm just kind of hoping Netflix picks it up soon, so I have to decide on that.
Why do you want to see that movie? It's horrible.
Her being silly and funny.
I think you'll be severely disappointed. But hey, maybe
I don't
you'll
know, we'll
find.
see. I did kind of want to watch Ninja Turtles again, just to make sure I wasn't crazy
Yeah.
about hating it, but I'm not going to pay $20 to find out.
Yeah, well, maybe someone will trade in a steelbook version at Tradesmart, and you can get it for $1 one day.
By buying another $20 item.
Well, no, it'll drop in price because it's popular, so they'll have lots of them. And then you can find one of your long lost. You can find King Kong book edition or something.
Let's assume James didn't watch anything and move on.
I kind of didn't because I watched some. All I really watched was some Justified season 5 because I'm trying to get ready for season 6 to start the final season in a couple months or in a month or so. That season's real good. Probably my second favorite season of the show after season 2. And then other than that, I've just been shooting cops in GTA, and that's still pretty fun.
Nice.
But I worked a lot this week, so it was mostly like get home at 9 o'clock, lay in bed, shoot cops, fall asleep.
Nice. I've been playing Toad Treasure Tracker. It's pretty fun.
Is it?
Yeah, it's cute.
I may have to borrow that from you because Dan's got one of those we use.
Yeah. I was good. I beat level 16 and the credits started rolling. I'm like, what?
Oh, right. Yeah, I
was
heard about
pissed.
that.
But then it goes on.
Right. For some reason, like a third of the game constitutes or causes the credits to roll.
Yeah, it's weird because they said over 70 puzzles and I only beat 16 of them. I was like, wait a minute. What the hell? The game's really cute, though. Every time you select a new level, he goes, "Time for adventure," and it's cute.
I just got myself mad because I reminded myself that there was no Bad Boys 2 Blu-ray, and I just confirmed there is still no Blu-ray of Bad Boys 2. What the fuck is wrong with this world?
Still not a good movie.
You are wrong, sir.
There's lots of terrible movies on Blu-ray.
You are wrong.
I know. I have like 3 of them.
Bad Boys 2 is a classic. It should have a criterion like The Rock or Armageddon.
That argument is sound. if there's criterions of the Armageddon and The Rock,
I think
there should be criterions.
I think The Rock only has a DVD Armageddon. I know because I own it. But still, I think that's fair.
Cool story, James.
Thanks.
Bad Boys 2 is still not that good.
Pretty awesome. That car chase is awesome.
Oh, I still need to do comic books, right?
Yeah.
Oh, this is a comic corner.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
I'm classing up the comic book corner this week, James.
Cool.
It's actually ties to movies. I read a great biography about Walt Disney
Oh, very cool.
by Neil Gabler called Walt Disney, The Triumph of the American Imagination. And it talks about how he refused to take no for an answer and how he built his empire. And it's really fascinating because he got really hosed for Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Yep.
And how he used that to build his reputation from that point on of this is my stuff and I'm not going to let anybody take it from me, even when his stuff wasn't being distributed by Disney, because it used to not be a distributor. He'd distribute it through RKO or MGM or whoever. He could distribute it. And it's a really fascinating book. It's also like a good business class book. Where, because he didn't care about business, but his brother did. And he says, hey, you better start caring about how much money you're costing us. And he says, well, I want it to be good. So there was always a struggle in the studio about quality versus how much money they had. And the studio didn't actually have a lot of money, even after Snow White was such a huge success, because Pinocchio and Bambi lost the studio money. And those movies didn't become profitable until someone suggested them, because they re-released Gone with the Wind, and they said, hey, you re-release these old properties and people will go out and see them again. So he re-released Snow White, and it made tons of money. And so he started using that money to finance his other films. And he, during World War II, he used government contracts to make educational films, propaganda films, and he was a big, I don't know what the word is, but he led the fight against communism inside the United States. And he found out that like some of his animators were communists, and they like he had a strike in the 40s, and it cost him a lot of money. And it's just a really fascinating book. And for someone who didn't have a lot to become one of the most powerful people in the world, it's a really fascinating story. It's a really good biography.
It's funny because I saw that I was walking around at Barnes & Noble and I saw it and I thought, oh, I could get that for Ryan for Christmas. And then I thought, no, he probably already has it. And sure enough, I walked in and saw it on the table and went, yep.
Yeah, a funny story. I actually got that last Christmas, and I've been trying to read it for a year. And not that it's not a good book; it's just really long.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, yeah. Although it's like 3 inches thick.
Yeah, but it's really well written, and the author covers a lot of topics, and it gives you a really good idea of who Walt Disney was and why he worked so hard. And it's cool to read because last year my favorite movie was Saving Mr. Banks, and how he said, hey, call me Walt. And that was this big thing, is people called him Walt or Uncle Walt. And then after the animator strike, I guess he was really hurt. And it took him a while to forgive people, and some people he didn't forgive at all. So it was interesting. And it's a really fascinating book, and if you really like movies and things like that, I definitely recommend picking it up.
Very cool.
So yeah, I classed up Comic Book Corner by Real Books.
Yeah, and if you read it and you really like Walt Disney, you can go pick up some of the like cool Disney, DuckTales or any of those issues at Colorado Cards and Comics.
Actually, he has some great Gold Key, which are like the 1950s,
Oh, yeah.
like Donald Duck comics or Mickey Mouse comics. They're kind of expensive because they're really hard to find, but there's some great stories in them.
Very cool.
You can get trade paperbacks there of the Disney stuff, so I recommend picking those up because it'd probably save you a lot of money.
Awesome. Very cool.
America's Civil War isn't 2015, right?
No, it's 2016.
It's films in 2015.
This writer's messed up.
Yeah, they're lying to you.
You know what I'm excited about next year is Jaws 19
Oh yeah, that's coming
in
out.
3D.
In 3D.
That is coming out.
Oh, no. Hologram, not 3D. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
This week we went and saw The Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies. James, should I come to you last?
No, you can start with me.
Should people go see The Battle of the Five Armies?
Did you see the other Hobbit movies? Did you like the other Hobbit movies? Then you should see The Hobbit.
Nice. Brad, should people go see Hobbit?
Again, successful franchise, lots of fans. You're going to see it whether I say yes or no, but I will say after Fellowship, this might be my favorite of the Middle-earth movies.
Really interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, the movie's pretty awesome.
Wow.
I'll talk about it. Here's a trailer for. Yeah, you should go. You should go see it. So here's a trailer for The Hobbit: Battle of the Five Armies.
Thorin, you gave a promise.
You brought upon them only ruin and death.
You've won the mountain, is that not enough?
Now, we defend it.
I came to reclaim something of mine.
This was the last move in a master plan. A plan long in the making.
These bats are bred for one purpose. For war.
Leave Sauron to me.
Bilbo is right.
You cannot see what you have become.
Everything I did for them. You started this. You will forgive me if I finish it.
When faced with death, what can anyone do?
I will not hide while others fight our battles for us! You have but one question to answer. How shall this day end?
What's really cool about this movie is it starts like in the middle of a climax,
Yeah.
which is a different pace.
So I really like this movie. This movie is a mess and has momentum problems and it's weird. But yeah, that opening sequence where you get to fight a dragon is pretty fucking awesome.
Oh, dude. I still think Smaug is maybe the coolest looking dragon
Yes.
on screen. And, I recently just watched the extended cut of Desolation of Smaug, and it has more footage in it than Unexpected Journey, but I I can't pinpoint the scenes as clearly.
Yeah, I think it just breathes a little bit more, and
Yeah.
there's some dialogue sequences that are longer. This one though, it feels, it's almost hard because once Smaug dies, spoilers. Once Smaug dies at the end of that, like it's not even the first act. Like it's the first
it's the
sequence.
prologue.
Yeah, all right. Like it's 15 minutes and Smaug is dead. That character was so big and cool and was part of what you loved about the last movie that it kind of causes this lull where it takes a while for them to get the movie going because they have to recuperate from the fact that you just watched something really cool and lost a character that was really interesting.
It's so amazing how the Smaug looks when he's destroying that town. Yeah. There's some things that look a little goofy. The one thing I always say about the Lord of the Rings movies is for some reason they can't get like the hobbits or the dwarves going up and down stairs to look right when it's like a big sweeping shot.
Yeah, sometimes but that's not, as far as I'm concerned, that's not the special effects in this movie that don't work. There's like some trolls later that just look off.
But again, for some reason it's a problem with the Lord of the Rings movies. But I forgive some of this CGI because there's so much of it.
Yeah.
And then so they kill Smaug in a really cool way.
Yes.
And even though I've read the book and I know what happens when he's like, move a little to the left, and there's like that huge like quietness, and he's just trying to get Smaug, and it's a pretty breathtaking scene.
Yeah.
And who knew that Benedict Cumberbatch as a dragon could be so good?
It's really good.
It's my favorite motion capture character besides Gollum, of course. So it's and that opening 15 minutes is pretty breathtaking.
And when is there a lot of introducing the dwarves after that, and then they do the scene with Gandalf, or I think so.
I think they cut back and forth.
Okay, because that fight sequence with Gandalf, I had this moment where when Galadriel and all the others come in, it kind of felt to me like the end of episode 1, where all of a sudden after all these years of these Lord of the Rings movies, you get to see Jedis fight like super awesome young Jedis. Like that was that sequence where all of a sudden there's like and the animation on those
Saruman was fighting, I was like,
and the animation on those ghosts is pretty cool. Yeah. That scene was neat. I didn't always understand what was going on. Like when Galadriel goes out dark and is screaming, like that's going to be one of those ones where I'll listen through to the commentary and be like, oh, okay, she's channeling the power of the ring that she has, and that's the thing. It's just, I don't know.
What I think is a tribute to those movies, though, is I've read the book. I haven't read the books in years.
Yeah.
But they do such a good job of making it accessible to everybody,
right? That
you don't have to. Brad is making noise that's affecting it. Wow.
Sorry.
So it lets everybody in. So Brad, you've never been really the biggest fan of these movies. What made this one stand out for you?
It's weird because too I recognize it is a mess, and it's all fighting for 2.5 hours.
Well, it's like no fighting, and then the last half is all fighting.
Yeah. And it's a bummer that they introduced Smaug at the end of the last movie, and then within 5 minutes he's gone from this movie. It's like this badass villain's gone, and then that part in the middle where Thorin, his buddy comes up to him and says like, "Hey, I think this gold's corrupting you. I think you should let us be the dwarves we are and go fight with everyone else." And Thorin's like, "No, I'll kill you if you say it again." And then it just cuts right to him like walking across this lake of gold, and then he just kind of wrestles with it. He's like,
psychedelic moment, yeah.
You know what? They're right. Throws his crown down, and then we just go. That's kind of weak, but at the same time, like I didn't mind because, not having lulls where you think about like the plot, you just kind of going like, oh, we're going to the next thing and the next thing. I was just like, sweet, this all looked great.
And here's the thing: is I think Martin Freeman's Bilbo is so great.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And there's that. There's a scene where Thorin is he's corrupt by the gold, and he has that moment with Bilbo, and he says, "What's that you have in your hand?" And he holds up the acorn, and he's like, "That's all you wanted from this journey was a little acorn." And
you want to go home and watch the trees grow.
Yeah, and it's such
so good.
And how Martin Freeman plays him is just, I don't know. It's just you just love the character, and you love who he's become, and that actually I think makes Ian Holmes' Bilbo in Lord of the Rings that much more great too, because you see how the ring has corrupted him, because Freeman plays him so carefree and I don't know, it's.
I think that's another reason why I like this movie is like because I said it's like my second favorite after The Fellowship. And I don't think between The Fellowship and now, like those two movies are the ones that dealt with like corruption of like the soul, where the other four have been like we just have a goal that we have to get to.
Yeah.
So this one actually plays with these two play with an idea about like what, and also honor and stuff, because what's his name from the lake town was saying like, hey, you promised us all this stuff, like you're really gonna go back in your word and things like that, so they actually play with ideas rather than just like, hey, we got to go dump the ring in a volcano,
right,
to solve our problems.
And I think so for me, I look at this very differently, where I like this movie despite what a mess it can be, because I have to, and I said this from the first one, I have to take a step back and look at the story they are telling over all three, because this one wasn't really written to be broken up. And when I do that, for me, the arc of Thorin and Bilbo is really interesting, and where it ends and where it goes in this film is exactly where I wanted it to. And so while from scene to, like, my argument would be near the end where like in Return of the King, you have that whole huge combat at Minas Tirith, and there's all kinds of stuff going on in different armies and all this, but he choreographs how he tells the story of that battle so well. You always know where you are and what's going on, and he can stop and tell really quiet moments, like when Gandalf stops and talks about the Grey Havens, or the Shores of the East. Like, you can do that and then go right back into the battle and not lose a step. Whereas in this one, the whole last battle is kind of confusing, and I lose track of where we are or what we're trying to accomplish. And but that's fine, because for me, he does such a great job with the story of Thorin and the story of Bilbo and their friendship that when I get to the end, I am moved and impacted by what's actually going on. And so it's, a credit to how well he crafted the whole story that it works.
Yeah, because, too, this movie, I really enjoyed it, but I think it's like you're watching a 2-hour-long climax. There's no...
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but the movie, it, by the way, in 3D high frame rate is pretty impressive.
Oh, man, I gotta go.
Again, the high frame rate bothers me a little bit.
Does it?
But the 3D, it was out of a necessity that I had to see it in 3D. I didn't seek to go see it in 3D.
Right.
But at the beginning with that fight with Smaug, dude, it's even when what's the Lake Town guy's name? I can't. Bard. Thank you. He's in the jail and the bars are in 3D and the rope is coming out, and then when he pulls back that black arrow and he's aiming it, oh dude, it's a part in 3D that's just so great. And even the little cheesy trick where Thorin at the end when he's fighting that big orc.
No, I didn't see it.
And,
I had to pee.
Oh really?
Oh
Yeah.
really?
He puts the sword right at the camera, but for some reason how it's shot just looks so epic and cool.
Wait, so you actually did miss the fight between Thorin and Ozark?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. I was like, this is probably the best part of the movie, but
Okay, so at what point did you leave and at what point did you come back? Because I want to know really what you missed.
I think because Legolas had been slaying a few of the orcs attacking him, and then I think the situation had calmed down, and then Ozark is his name?
Azark. Yeah.
Azark stepped down onto the ice and started approaching him, and I was like, this is probably the best part, but I gotta go. And then I came back at what's his name? Lee Pace's elf character.
Uh-huh.
They were in some tunnel, talking hey, I understand why you defied me or something.
Your mom loves you scene.
Yeah, your mom loves you.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what it was.
You missed you really had to pee.
Yeah.
That scene was 15 minutes long.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that seems long. So you didn't see any of how that guy gets defeated.
No, after he tells him his mom,
It's maybe the best.
I'm like, did
part
you make
of,
it?
Well,
And then the
it's-
doors walk over to that body. I'm like, oh, we didn't make it.
It's like the second best part of the movie.
Yep.
Like,
I'll be seeing it
right?
again.
Like, there's that moment halfway through that now I really don't want to spoil for you.
Thank
It's
you.
It is the most creative part of a fight scene I've seen all year. I'm not even kidding. Right? You know what I'm talking about. Like,
Absolutely.
that shot when all of a sudden...
Wait a minute. You guys are messing with me.
No, dude, I am not fucking with you. There is a thing where Thorin does a thing because there's an element of the fight that all of a sudden Thorin works back in his own favor in the coolest way.
And what's so cool is it's a huge epic fight, and it builds and builds and builds, and all of a sudden Thorin realizes what he can do, and he does it, and it quiets the whole thing, and you're like, ooh.
When it's shot in it's a sudden, perfect injection of Peter Jackson's sense of humor in the way he shoots it.
Mm-hmm.
So like he paces it, because every now and then he's got that wacky sense of humor, like Bard breaks out of the jail by hanging the bad guy, right? And it's just silly and it doesn't make sense. This is one of those where it's along that line where he came up with an idea and thought this will be cool, but then he pumps the brakes just a little bit. So it's not over the top. It's just it's really
Enough.
good. No, it's really good.
Yeah. Oh, that's a bummer.
Damn. Yeah. It's feels to me like you almost didn't see Smaug get killed.
You know, in this movie too, it's
I'm really not fucking with you.
I did see Smaug get killed.
Yeah.
Legolas. Every time he comes on screen, I get really excited.
He's really good in this one.
That plan to knock over that tower though was stupid though because it totally could have landed on what's her name.
Yes.
Pharrell. Yeah, it could have, but it sets up like the sweet badass fight between him and that other orc.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it was like in the last one in the Desolation. I get so excited when he comes on screen, and I guess it's a tribute to the character. You know,
Yeah.
I was never really a big fan of him in the first trilogy.
He's pretty simple. In the
But
first
then
ones.
when I watched that, Desolation of Smaug, and I go back and I watch the first one, I'm like, oh, he's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe I want to be an elf because I also like too how well.
Maybe I want to be an elf.
I also love how it was choreographed when the bard was walking through the ranks of the elven army, and they're all like turning in unison, and then as he's going through, it created a wave. Like
That was
just cool.
Yeah.
This movie's just cool.
Yeah. But you're right. Like even talking about that scene where he's fighting the dude with all the blades coming out of him, like if this movie had been structured as a 3-part film from the beginning, you would have put that scene at the end of the he would have beat that guy at the end of the second one,
Yeah.
so that you had a climax. But here, because all that stuff gets mixed up, this movie really is like one giant climax because they're just tying up all the loose ends they've set up for 2 films, which is fine. That's why I said that. Like I have to take a step back and see it as one big story because it kind of doesn't work as its own movie. Like if you walked into this and had not seen any other ones,
Oh, no way.
Like you're lost. You're totally
Maybe
lost.
like an episode of a TV show.
Yeah, and that is a detriment to the film because no one walked into this movie right out of the other ones, or very few people did, right? Unless you're at a marathon, and so it means that the movie
I agree.
does not pace itself in the way that it should as a normal film to have its own arc, the way that the original trilogy does. Because Return of the King stands on its own. You can just watch that movie and you won't understand all of the politics in play, but as far as the momentum is concerned and really having a sort of 3-act structure, it has that, where this one does not.
Also, what was up with like only having like one ending? I mean, there wasn't 18 like the last time the trilogy wrapped up.
At the Alamo, there's a really good thing before this movie that makes fun of that, where they're talking about like, oh, we're about to say goodbye to the Lord of the Rings trilogy, so we're going to pay attention to something really interesting, and they have that scene. And what song is it? It's one of those like Boys to Men songs, and then they're going through and they're like, they're showing how as people enter the room during the worst of the endings, the only unnecessary ending in in that movie,
The gayest one.
right? You know the one I'm talking about. Frodo says the name of the people who come in, and then he gets to Legolas, and he just kind of goes,
He doesn't say anything.
like he doesn't know Legolas's name. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's
And
really
just like,
good.
what the fuck?
Oh, and then they go to Sam, and he's like, "It's okay. He doesn't say Sam's name either. He didn't need to say anything at all."
Yeah.
It's just so good. Oh man, yeah.
But yeah, I want to just give him. I've already mentioned it, but huge props to Martin Freeman. I just love him, and the scene too where him and the Elven King and Gandalf are talking, and he's, I just want my friends. I don't.
Yeah.
The money doesn't matter to me, and
that part when he delivers the Hearthstone,
the Arkenstone,
Arkenstone to the elf leader or whatever, and he has that like, did you steal this? Yeah.
You're the guy who stole all those keys from my. Look, we got shit to talk about. It's okay. I love the scene when he sits down and he and Gandalf's taking out his pipe and he's gonna smoke, and it's just this really quiet scene that nobody else would put into this movie. Sort of setting up where their friendship is gonna go, but also the look on Martin Freeman's face and the way he plays that scene is he's like kind of getting comfortable again, but also like there's still this weight of everything he's been through. He's really good, and is not going to get appreciated for all the work he did in this movie, and it's too bad. It's too bad.
And too, I love that they didn't use the Hobbit theme very much until when he was delivering the Arkenstone, and just hear the little flute start playing. I get really excited. I'm like, oh, I love this song. I love it. And then he goes back to the Shire, and yeah. So I mean, I definitely see it. It's my wife didn't want to see it because she hates the movies, but she also hates the books. My wife's weird.
That's cool. Honestly, like in talking to you guys about it, I like that movie more.
It's I had lots of fun watching it, and I mean, some of like the monsters are really cool. Like I love the monster who hit his head against the wall and then like died because he did it.
Yes. Oh man, yeah.
Bust down the city wall.
Yeah, the one that's got like the giant stone arrow on his head. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just a fun movie, and for a lot of the Tolkien purists, that Terrell I didn't think was that bad of a.
No. She's a good addition, and they pull in like, Billy Connolly shows up. That part's great. Billy Connolly riding a pig.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, God, that guy sounds familiar. Yeah. And then the credits were like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Oh, man. So good.
I think
he's got that awesome beard.
I think his face was CGI through the whole thing, though.
I think so, too. Yeah. I think they just CG'd, like, almost his whole person.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, I think just because Billy Connolly's voice is so great, and he's such a great actor, but he's probably a little too old to play Dane.
I think he's really tall, too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm thinking like Boondock Saints.
Right.
I think he's taller than the other two boys.
Which probably would have been maybe Dane's a tall dwarf. Who knows? I don't know. Mm-hmm.
He rides a pig.
Yeah. He rides a pig and knocks dudes out with his head. Like he kills more orcs with his head than he does his big ass awesome hammer. I swear. Somebody needs to tally that up.
And how great was it when Bilbo's throwing rocks at him? I was like, go Bilbo.
And there are some weird things. Where the fuck did they get those rams? All of a sudden, they did that bother you at all?
No.
Rams?
Okay. Yeah, they read rams up the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And like all of a sudden, there's
there's
just fucking rams. I don't know where they came from.
I know, it's one of those movies I just accept it. I don't care.
Agreed. Yeah, as soon as there was a second where I was like, where the fuck did they get? And then I was like, who cares?
I think maybe I thought there were more pigs. Sure, they were rams.
Oh yeah. Oh no, they're definitely.
Yeah, because they're showing them going up the side of the mountain and stuff.
Yeah, they got big horns and everything. Like, because they also right before that they run through some orcs and then knock a bunch of orcs over and stuff. I mean, mostly it's that it would be cool to see a movie with dwarves riding on rams, and so they put that in the movie. Like, why not? So it was good.
I had fun.
Yeah.
Next week we're seeing Into the Woods.
Fuck. Okay. It's got Anna Kendrick. I will see it. Fine. Sign me up.
I mean, is that or The Imitation Game? I don't know.
I mean, I'd rather see The Imitation Game, but
yeah, me too.
We'll see.
There's plenty of time. I can see that too. And I can see Chef. And I can see Team America. And when the interview gets on torrents, I will watch that. And I'll send $10 to Sony and be like, here, offset your expenses.
Yep.
They should just airlift copies of the interview over North Korea and just drop them with little parachutes.
Oh my god, that'd be sweet. Yeah.
Like, we have nothing we can do with these, so here you go.
In like a military helicopter with a sign on it that says, shoot this motherfucker down. Really, try us. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Cool. Thanks. Bye. Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. You can tweet us at real_nerds. You can email us even, realnerds@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. Hey, stream us on Stitcher. You want to call us? 720-6nerds5. And download us on iTunes. Just search Real Nerds. Thank you, Joe Kempter, for the wonderful voiceover. And also Spark Mandrill for the wonderful late-night jazz smooth sounds of movies. You can find him on SoundCloud. This has been a Nebulous Visions production.